So before diving into this, let me give you a brief intro of myself. I'm Tapan. I recently joined BOK Explorers as an intern, and I have been working with Kubernetes since 2017. Have deployed. I'm a freelancer. I have worked with multiple clients delivering Kubernetes-based solutions, helping them evolve into the Kubernetes space, into the cloud native space. And yeah, the journey has been really fulfilling, and I think that has kind of led me to this particular place with this awesome people here. And yeah, I think we are doing some great work. And right now, I'm gonna show you exactly what we have been working on for the last, I think, 10 days or something. This is my first challenge with these guys, and I'll be discussing today why backups are important for Kubernetes from a Kubernetes context. And later on, I will give you one of the solutions that I prefer to basically solve this particular problem and why do I do that. So yeah, let's dive directly into this. So let me give you an overall brief of like what the journey of stateful applications on Kubernetes has been. So this is the data from Safe Survey 2018. So as you can see, like here, so the left side diagram is basically showing the number of respondents who are facing challenges in any particular domain inside the Kubernetes or cloud native. So for example, there are different domains like security, storage, and stuff like that. So out of all the 2,400 respondents, out of which I think 72% are people with 500 to 5,000 people companies, which is really great and interesting to see so many enterprise kind of companies come into Kubernetes. We can see here that since November 2016 to July 2018, if you see this last particular section, the people who find storage as a challenge in Kubernetes or cloud native has decreased from like 48% to 30%. And it has been like one of the steepest decreases across all the domain challenges that are there in the system. So basically, Kubernetes started off as predominantly a place or a platform where we can very easily scale stateless applications, basically containerized applications, because the container is very native to the whole architecture, and Kubernetes provides a platform to scale it and to make it more fault tolerant, more resilient, basically. But there has always been challenges with data when it comes to data running data applications on Kubernetes. But as we can see here, till July 2018, there has been a decrease. Basically, there has been new technologies coming up into the cloud native storage, which basically is making people more confident in adopting the cloud native storage and making it a part of the Kubernetes adoption journey. So this is 2018. Like we have this statistics. Basically, 30% of people still find Kubernetes, like storage on Kubernetes, as a challenge. Let's see where this goes to. 2019, we have 1,337 respondents, and 49% of them are enterprise companies. And as you can see from the left side, only 5% of respondents are actually people who don't want to leverage storage on Kubernetes. They don't want to run applications, data applications, stateful applications on Kubernetes, which is, I think, their opinion. But basically, yeah, so 95% of people are either running workloads in production, stateful workloads in production, or they are evaluating their options of running stateful applications in production. And all these different technologies that you can see here, they are all these technologies are providing different kinds of storage solutions, mapping their cloud-based storage solutions, cloud-native storage solutions to the Kubernetes. So basically, 2018 to 2019, there is definitely an increase in the number of these projects which provide cloud-native storage, and that has increased the adoption. Fast forward to 2020, you guys can see here 55% of respondents use stateful applications in containers in production. And 48% of the total respondents are enterprise-grade companies. So that basically means stateful applications in Kubernetes, something that was kind of a taboo in 2016 or something that was not looked forward to, is now becoming mainstream, guys. So it's like, people are trying to leverage the scalability and the fault tolerance and resilience of the Kubernetes and containerized patterns with scaling their database or data applications over the globe. Basically, this is the gist of the adoption that we are seeing. So why I'm telling you why storage-based applications or data applications are getting more prevalent, to make you understand that how big of a challenge the data protection, data backups, and data migration uh, are as of now in Kubernetes. They are being actively worked upon, and many cool solutions are already in the space. But like previously, when we were using traditional architectures, they were like data protection, data backups, they were still a problem. They were still a part of the architecture. And the same thing has kind of come in a different format when we are moving the traditional applications to the Kubernetes or to the containerized domains. With the increase in the adoption of cloud native storage, there is an increase in the requirement for planning about data migrations, data backup, data protection, basically. And what exactly is the domain of backing up a Kubernetes cluster? What are the different things? So right now, I'm showing you a rough diagram that I created, I think 15, 20 minutes back. So forgive me if I missed something out. This is the whole like very abstract idea of let's say if you're running a Kubernetes cluster in any cloud, uh, this is how it's going to look like in a very abstract manner. Like if you see the blue box, that's the domain of the Kubernetes cluster. Now, let's say whenever you have Kubernetes cluster, you can like have applications with stateless applications. You can have deployment services, etc. You can have stateful applications, which is basically stateful set. And in Kubernetes world, you can create. So obviously, this comes without saying that stateful applications they are the ones that will have data stored in them, but data ultimately gets stored on disks. So Kubernetes have different constructs in its domain, which basically says that persistent volume claim, persistent volume are equivalent to disks in the cloud domain that Kubernetes will now leverage for the applications to use, basically. Whenever you create a stateful application, you will automatically use a persistent volume, and the persistent volume will basically it's like Kubernetes' way of saying, hey, provision this amount of disk for me and attach it to my container. This is how it works. But as you see, with stateful applications, things kind of get outside of the Kubernetes domain itself. Like basically, there is a hard disk involved, which is if you're running on-prem, it's your cluster administrator responsibility. If you're running in cloud, it's the cloud responsibility. This is just the blue box, the Kubernetes cluster. Now, definitely there will be cloud native databases also. For example, right now you can have Azure MySQL, Azure PostgreSQL, or any other managed services, managed databases that the cloud providers provide. You can also utilize those. But the problem is that even those technologies, they require continuous backups. They require to be tested out for backups. And ultimately, those things are also using disks. And all these technologies, they come with different kinds of backing tools, backup tools, migration tools, and stuff like that, where you can define the backup policies and everything. So this is the whole domain. If I tell you that right now we're running a Kubernetes cluster with a stateful application, or it is connecting with, let's say, a database outside the Kubernetes but in the cloud, this you have to think of backing up everything that is in the diagram right now. Exactly. This is the scope of the Kubernetes backup. What are the key things that we should consider whenever we think about data backups? So the first thing and the foremost, it has absolutely been security, be it encryption at rest, be it encryption in flight. Whenever data is moving, data should be encrypted. Whenever it's at the place in the storage, it should be encrypted. Second thing, which is kind of my favorite, ease of implementation and maintenance. From the operator standpoint, from the person who is the solutions architect, it should be, if it is easy for me to provide such a solution to my clients, it's very intuitive. Why shouldn't I use that? Backup immutability. So let's say when you take a backup of your data, uh, the backup should not be able to like modified, for example, by any bad actor or any other reason. The backup should not be corrupted in any case. So backup immutability, that is a paramount scenario. Periodic testing of the backup restores. Hey, without any testing, like a backup is as good as its restore. Like you don't want to wake up in the morning, try to restore something point in time and only say it doesn't work. Right now, my database is freeze. That is, you don't have any way to, it's just like a formality of doing backups without having to test it out in as restores. So you have to periodically test if the restores are working. And the last one definitely is cost efficiency. Like you should be paying for the backup, the storage that is getting used while doing it. But let's say if you can opt out of paying for the other infrastructure that is used for creating and maintaining the backups, that is an added advantage. So yeah, these are some of the things that we should be considering for backups. So now that we have dived into the problems, dived into like what exactly is the domain of backups in Kubernetes, I'll just say one thing. So my understanding of a solution in cloud or cloud native is that a solution is as elegant as the ease with which it solves a problem, basically. So what I mean by this is actually the second point that is mentioned here: ease of implementation and maintenance. So if there is one solution, rather than I have to write scripts for backing up Kubernetes and like different scripts for backing up the data disks and different scripts for backing up the RDS instances or data, like cloud databases. If I have one solution that can cover all of this, with all the added advantages and features, that is security, backup immutability, and all those stuff. That is something that is really to be looked forward to. And yeah, without taking any more time, I'll be giving you a brief about the solution. This is not from my slides. This I'm just going to the website of those guys, and they are providing a kick-ass solution right now for backing up, or let's say they are providing Kubernetes backup as a service, as well as data protection for Kubernetes and cloud native. So it's like a very cool fusion of two different but yet very related technologies. So so this is basically Cloud Casa, which is a solution that is provided by very cool people at Datalogic. And so why should I use this? Like how does it solve the problems that you already mentioned? So first things first, it's cloud native. If you're talking about Kubernetes, if you're talking about cloud-based databases, if you're talking about cloud-based cloud native disks, it will cover everything for you under one particular SaaS offering only. So that is one thing which is very cool. Support all the distributions of Kubernetes. So right now in the production, like whenever somebody says that I want to use Kubernetes in production, most of the time people try to use a managed service for a managed Kubernetes offering. Most of the cloud providers provide that right now. Like Azure provides AKS, Amazon provides EKS and stuff. So it runs with everything. It runs with cloud provider managed Kubernetes. It runs with your own hosted Kubernetes. It runs everywhere, wherever Kubernetes is. So this is really a Kubernetes native solution for backups, basically. Fair pricing, definitely we'll come to that later on. It's basically capacity-based pricing. Secure. Why is it secure? So basically, it has the configurability to either bring your own storage. So let's say if you are having your own S3 buckets, if you are having your own keys for encryption, if you're having your own policies, you can bring that, or you can use Cloud Casa's own storage solution, which is like an air cap solution where you can store your database, your backups, like your database backups, your cluster backups, and everything. And it's completely secure. It's completely encrypted, and yeah, that's really free, and that's really intuitive. Next thing, free service plan. That is definitely one thing that I want. If I'm pitching this to somebody, then yeah, it's good. Application protection. So, okay, and this particular solution. It not only covers Kubernetes backups, which is basically the manifest of all Kubernetes resources, the persistent volume backup. This also covers the cloud databases, for example, Amazon RDS, and in the future they will be adding more services from different cloud providers. So it's kind of a truly cloud native solution for data protection and data backups, which is why I find this very interesting. A couple of other features that are a part of this particular solution are already listed on their website. And so, from my personal experience, I would like to tell this. I set it up for multiple of my clients, and it literally took me like 15 minutes to set it up. It's like a very easy, like single command that you have to run to install what is required on your Kubernetes cluster. And after that, it automatically connects to the SaaS, and it's like, yeah, one-stop solution. Everything gets properly identified, and it's on basically. Your cluster is now connected. It's getting backed up. The policies, backup policies, you can define very easily. For example, weekly backups, monthly backups, and stuff. So yeah, this particular solution is like it provides the security, cost efficiency, and one single management plane for basically all things cloud native, backing up everything in cloud. So yeah, this is, and we should obviously be looking for solutions only like this, so that yeah, it's easy for people like us, like the Kubernetes operators, people who are delivering Kubernetes platforms, Kubernetes based platforms to people, basically add their value, right? So yeah, I think this is why this is the problem solution. I discuss everything. And last but not the least, please join the BOK Explorers community. We are a thriving community. We are really active from the last few weeks because like there is a new cohort of interns that have just joined, and we are really eager to have more people working with us. We'll be adding more challenges. We are revamping the like challenges and everything. So yeah, more hands. We are like hopeful to get more people around with us, and yeah, feel free to communicate with Abhijit, Bart, or anybody in the Slack or Twitter, even myself. That's completely fine. Yeah, I think that's it from my side. We will be looking forward to meet you guys soon, and yeah, I think I didn't waste anybody's time now. So yeah, over to you, Bart.